The dust hadn't settled from the landing craft before Callan Ward realized something was wrong. He stood at the edge of his ranch, one hand shielding his eyes from the twin suns of Kepler 442b, watching the small transport vessel touch down on the designated landing pad. For 6 months, he'd been corresponding with Elena Vasquez through the Frontier Bride Registry, a woman from Earth, looking for a fresh start on the colony worlds. He'd fixed up the guest house, planted actual Earth flowers in the garden, and even practiced his rusty Spanish using the language programs. But the figure that emerged from the craft wasn't Elena. She was taller than any human woman he'd ever seen, with skin that shimmered like oil on water, shifting between deep purples and midnight blues. 4 arms hung at her sides, 2 holding what were unmistakably weapons. Her eyes glowed amber in the harsh sunlight, and when she turned to face him, Callan saw the lean, predatory grace of something that had survived by being faster and deadlier than everything around it. "You Callan Ward?" Her voice was rough, accented with clicks and harmonics that human vocal cords couldn't produce. Yes, but you're not Elena Vasquez." "I know." The alien woman, 4-armed and clearly dangerous, glanced back at the transport. "She sold me her ticket, asked no questions, took the credits, and disappeared into New Mumbai Station before anyone could stop her." Callan's heart sank. 6 months of letters. 6 months of hope. "So you just stole her identity?" "Borrowed." She hefted a worn duffel bag over one shoulder with her upper left arm while the other 3 remained ominously free. "Name's Risa Vorn, Gentari, if you know the species. And before you call colonial security, you should know 3 things." Callan said nothing, too stunned to form words. 1. I paid Elena triple what this trip cost her. She got the better deal. 2. There are 12 Galactic Concordat hunters currently searching this sector for me. 3. If you turn me in, they'll burn your ranch to bedrock, just to make sure they got everything I touched. What did you do? Risa's amber eyes narrowed. I refused to die for someone else's war. Before Callan could respond, the distinctive whine of atmospheric engines cut through the air. 3 sleek crafts Concordat design, all sharp angles and matte black hull plating, screamed overhead, vectoring toward the nearby settlement of New Prosperity. "They're here already," Risa muttered. Her lower right hand dropped to the plasma pistol at her hip. "I'll leave. Draw them away." "You never saw me." Something in Callan Ward, something that his grandfather would have recognized, something carved into the Ward family line by generations of stubborn frontier survival, clicked into place. "The hell you will," he said. "That's my transport pad. My guest house reservation. And technically, according to the Frontier Bride Registry contract, my responsibility for the next 30 days. Risa stared at him. "You're insane. I'm a deserter. A fugitive. They'll have to go through me first." Callan turned toward the ranch house, gesturing for her to follow. "Welcome to Ward Ranch, Miss Vorn. Let's get you settled before they start door-to-door searches." The Concordat hunters arrived at sunset. There were 4 of them, 2 Krell enforcers built like walking tanks, 1 Civen tracker with sensor implants covering half her face, and a human commander who wore his authority like armor. "Callan Ward?" The commander's voice was clipped, professional. "I'm Captain Chun, Galactic Concordat Security. We're tracking a dangerous fugitive who may have landed in this area. A Gentari female, 4-armed, wanted for desertion and theft of military property." Callan leaned against his porch railing, making a show of considering. Inside, Risa was hiding in the root cellar, a space lined with lead and stone that his grandfather had built during the original colony wars, designed to shield against sensor sweeps. "Haven't seen anyone like that," Callan said. "Had a delivery this morning, but it was just supplies from New Prosperity." The Civen tracker's head tilted, her implants whirring. "Our sensors detected a Gentari biosignature on your landing pad within the last 6 hours. "That's so?" Callan scratched his jaw. "Might have been the trader who sold me these cattle." He gestured toward the pens where his prized Earth descendant longhorns grazed. "She was Gentari. 2-armed though, not 4. "Military modification?" Captain Chen's eyes narrowed. "You know about Gentari modifications?" "I know lots of things, Captain. Fought in the Outer Rim conflicts before I took up ranching. Saw what the Concordat does to deserters." He met Chun's gaze steadily. "Saw what the Concordat does to people who harbor them too. Then you understand the gravity of obstruction. I understand that a man's property is his own on the frontier worlds. And I understand that I haven't seen your fugitive." Callan straightened. Now, unless you have a warrant authorized by the Colonial Assembly, you're trespassing. The tension stretched like wire ready to snap. The two Krell enforcers shifted, hands moving toward their weapons. The Sivan tracker's implants spun faster, trying to penetrate the ranch's stone and metal construction. Captain Chun studied Callan for a long moment. Then, surprisingly, he smiled. You were 4th Battalion, Outer Rim Campaign. I read your file before we landed. That was a long time ago. Not that long. You earned a Medal of Valor for extracting 37 civilians from a Concordat bombardment zone. Chan's smile faded. You also filed 14 official complaints about war crimes. None of which went anywhere. Callan said nothing. The fugitive we're tracking saved 200 slaves from a corporate mining facility. Theft of military property means she stole a gunship to do it. Chun turned toward his craft. We'll be searching the sector for another week. If you happen to see anything, you have my contact code. As the Concordat ships lifted off into the darkening sky, Callan waited until their engine signatures faded completely. Then he walked to the root cellar and opened the hatch. Risa emerged, all 4 hands clenched into fists. Why? Why what? Why risk everything? You don't know me. I'm not even your species. Callan looked out at his ranch, at the land he'd carved from hostile wilderness, at the home he'd built with his own hands, at the future he'd hoped to share with someone who'd never arrived. My grandfather used to say that humanity's best quality isn't our strength or our intelligence, he said quietly. It's our stubborn refusal to let injustice stand, even when it's stupid to fight, even when we'll probably lose. He extended his hand. Welcome to Ward Ranch, Risa Vorn. For real this time. She stared at his hand for a moment, then clasped it with her upper right hand. Her grip was strong, warm, alive. Humans, she muttered, but there was something like hope in her amber eyes. Absolutely insane. Yeah, Callan agreed, grinning. We get that a lot.